Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 18 of Across America. I am your host, Jack Austin. With me, sometimes, Robert Lamb.
Hello.
And today, an exciting, earth-shattering announcement that will blow your mind out of existence. So stop listening. Just kidding. I know you didn't. We have a guest with us, Patches the cat, who just ran under my feet.
Ran in here.
And Mr. Sean Wise.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, yeah, so he's here just to comment on this episode because we needed him specifically for emotional support for Robert. Because, spoiler alert, we're getting deep.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Jesus Christ, as the cat runs back in here again.
Can you
I have a cat now. So
control
anyways,
your cat?
Can't do it. So, yeah, where did we leave off? We left off where I was just getting into Bozeman.
Last we left off, you guys had just picked up some elixirs and a couple of health potions. You were about to buy some new armor in the town and then move on because there was a Hydra in the valley.
Right.
Wrong story. Never mind.
No, yeah, that's pretty close. Pretty close.
Yeah.
Except with... Replace all of what you just said
with the truth.
With more like normal stuff. Yeah, like non-video game related stuff.
You had just backed off of Claude. Claude had just got back on the plane and left, right?
Yeah, Claude's already gone. I think where I left off was Tony just bought a cart.
Yeah.
And then
that's right.
I ended up buying the same cart. Like I was using wheels like on my backpack, but I ended up buying a it goes on the side on the back of like a bike.
Yeah, but if I'm not mistaken,
yes.
Tony was not too keen on getting the wheels.
He didn't want to get the wheels
That's
because
right.
he wanted it to be a challenge. He wanted it to be like, I want to carry this backpack the whole way, which I understand. Like I get that.
Whatever.
But also,
I'm not carrying your
wheels.
backpack.
Yeah, I like wheels, and I decided to do that instead. So, Jesus, this cat is
Patches
will not stop running.
By the way, Sean, spoiler alert, I didn't tell you about this before the podcast. Rob walked across the country.
Wow. Yeah.
The entire country of the United States that we live in, of America.
That's a pretty long walk.
I've actually mentioned you on this podcast more than once. This is my walking buddy. He and I
really?
used to go miles and miles and miles.
Really?
You won't be able to look by my size, but
No.
yes.
Well, we haven't walked in a while. We haven't walked in a good minute.
Well,
But anyway, Robert's done some walking.
just a little bit.
Yeah. So,
I mean,
all right. So,
not recently, but semi.
so for
3
the
years
rest of the
ago.
episode, go.
Okay, just finish it out. We're taking off. No, we're gonna go for a walk.
It's just going to be you and Patches.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And sane.
Yeah. No. So basically, yeah. I had the cart. Tony bought a cart. We had matching carts. We're just like walking down. We get into Bozeman, and I remember like we were seeing these signs for like a museum. It's called Museum of the Rockies. And it was just like a museum over there, and they were advertising it everywhere.
Museum of the Rockies. You guys were in
Montana.
Montana.
This is still Montana.
Yeah.
So like that's just what the museum was called and stuff. And they had a big T-Rex in the front, and we're like, you know what? Why don't we take a break and go see it? I wanted to keep walking that day, so I thought we were gonna go do that. Okay. Also, let me do this real quick. I'm going to try to talk about this as gently as possible.
Right.
What's about to come
There are
out.
feelings at stake
Yeah.
with what's about to happen.
I don't want to go too far with what I'm going to say, so
Yeah.
I'm going to try to...
It's this is me paraphrasing a completely different situation, not Robert's, but it's like you don't want to be like, yeah, well, I was with this guy who's being a fucking total dick.
Yeah, I mean, then that's not how I felt. I'm just saying, but like
right,
that's right.
I'm just,
But I don't want to I want to tread lightly so that no one
Yeah.
is offended or thinking otherwise, or anybody's thinking anything. You'll see. We're going to get to
so
it.
we
soon.
still think Tony's a good guy,
Yeah,
despite what
what I'm about
may
to
or may
say.
not happen.
It's almost like I'm not trying to sound like a dick, but
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I'm not
Go ahead.
racist, but
Jesus. But Patches,
yeah.
All right, go ahead.
So basically, we went to the museum. After the museum, like we kind of hung out there for like a couple hours, and after that, we were going to start walking. But then Tony was like, "No, let's kind of like just hang out or whatever." And I was like, "All right, that's fine." So forget what we did. I think we may have went and saw another movie or something, but we were just kind of staying in Bozeman, and that was fine. But then the next day, we camped out outside of Bozeman, and just like near an overpass, and we were going to start walking the next day. But then I started like Tony didn't wake up until like later. It was like 11 o'clock in the morning and stuff like that. And I always wanted to start walking early and like avoid the central
5 or 6.
Yeah, because it's pretty hot between 11 and like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Like that's when it's the hottest. So I wanted to start walking. So I asked him, and like Tony was like, "Well, I don't really want to rush with this. I like the pace we're going." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't mind the pace we're going sometimes, but there are times where we're just kind of hanging out and not really doing anything. If we were doing something, it's different. Like going to the museum, that's fine. But I didn't really want to just like kind of hang out in a grassy field for like a whole day.
Making grass angels.
Yeah, grass, just like kind of, just waving our arms about frantically.
I get that. I get that because, I mean, like when you start hanging out, in my personal opinion, you start thinking about the rest of the walk that you got to do.
Right. It like kind of was like almost, well, not only that is like for me, like I liked walking, but it was also that like when we didn't walk, I thought like, there was like a day we kind of wasted. We didn't really walk at all. And if we were doing something or we met people or we were doing like going to a party, meeting some people or something like that, like that's something, or even seeing a movie or some shit.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. But because we were kind of just hanging out, and we were kind of doing that a lot more recently. So I just decided like, hey man, like I want to start walking more. And then Tony was like, well, I don't want to really walk any more than we're already doing. And then I was like, well, I'm going to be starting school in August. I need to get back. Like, I don't mind doing homework because they were online classes and I brought my stuff. I was like, I don't mind doing homework on the road, but I want to get back before like my finals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like, I'm like, we don't have to push it, but even if we walked like 20 miles a day, we would be fine.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to. And he was like, we kind of like clashed a little bit with that idea. That's all I'm going to say. Just a little bit clashing.
We just weren't pleased with each other.
We sat down. We did our counterpoint arguments.
Yeah.
And, no, but basically he was like, well, I feel like I don't want to rush and I kind of just want to do it this way. And I was like, okay, well, I want to walk more. So after our calm conversations, we were like, okay, maybe like we should kind of go our own way.
Yeah.
And we like...
So this was a very civil way to decide that halfway across the country, well, not even halfway.
Not even halfway. It was maybe
you guys
a fourth
like,
of the way.
You know what? Screw you, man. I'm leaving.
I mean, it was kind of like a weird situation because Tony just bought like the wheels like for his backpack. So I thought we were actually going to walk more.
Yeah, this was to improve efficiency on the walk.
At least that was from my point of view. That's what I thought. But then after we went to like the museum and we hung out in Bozeman, I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Like he seemed like he didn't really want to walk that much. And I was like, okay. I'm like, that's fine if that's you. But like to me, it's not that I want to rush and I'm going to try to make 40 miles a day or whatever. It's just I want to go.
This is neither here nor there, but well, I guess it's part of the situation.
It might be there.
But yeah, but your buddy was talking about he wanted this to be a challenge, but then he also said, I want to sleep till 11 and only walk for a couple hours.
And that's the thing that's the thing is when he was carrying his backpack, when we were walking during the day and we wouldn't start walking until 10 or 11 in the morning, you're carrying your backpack in the hottest part of the day in Montana. There's no shade or anything on the highway.
A flat
it's
surface.
Just like, so it's just really like that makes it harder. So that's why I said when he bought the wheels, I thought, okay, maybe that'll make it easier. And we were able to carry more water with like these carts and everything. So I'm like, oh, this won't be that bad. So, it just like, it seemed like we were actually in Bozeman, I think for like 2 or 3 days. And I was like, you know what? I want to start walking more. And, I know Patches is climbing up and going over to the soundboard.
Patches is walking on the soundboard right now.
I'm really hoping she doesn't like just delete this file right
That'd
now.
That'd be pretty badass.
But yeah, so to get back to the story, as
back
we watched
to the story.
cat
Go ahead, Sean.
from the corner of our eyes.
You were saying?
Yeah, what were you saying?
What were you saying, Sean?
Well, we were walking and we decided to part ways. And
thank you for recapping. So that's where I was going off of. Yeah, that's
right. That's where we were.
All right.
Patches, no.
Just hey,
hold on.
Pause. All right, so we just had to pause really quickly just to get the cat out of this room.
And the cat gashed Sean across the face on its way out.
Yeah, just ripped his face.
It was just
wide open.
Why do you have to over exaggerate? I had to set a simple thing.
You said gash.
Well, that could be many things.
I don't want to go there.
Could be many things.
Yeah, that's true. All right, where was I?
So now that Rob's done being gross,
right. Okay, so yeah, basically I just remember we like camped out in this field on the side of an overpass. We had our little talk, and then that was kind of
It's so funny. I just am imagining you camping on one side of the overpass.
He's on the other side.
On the other side of the overpass. And
No,
between...
but okay, jokingly, like this is actually, now that I think about it, it's kind of funny. But when we did it, we were kind of both like upset that like this is what we were gonna do, and it kind of was like dawning on me. I'm like, okay, like I remember I called my mom. I wasn't talking to my dad still, but I talked to my mom, and I'm like,
didn't
hey,
tell his dad he was going on the walk.
well, until
Just
like
took
a
off.
week before I left, and then my dad was kind
His
of
dad
upset
tried to stand
about
on the runway and stop the plane.
it. Yeah,
Oh,
he
wow.
was kind of upset about it, but
That didn't happen. I lied.
Did you do
not
a
that
knock
part.
joke?
Not, yeah, not
Knock,
that
knock.
part.
Who's there? Walking across the United States.
Who's
Yeah,
there? I'm leaving
Bye.
to walk across the
yeah,
United
yeah.
States. Bye.
Goodbye, father.
He's like, oh, that's pretty funny.
That's a pretty good one. Can I use that? So like, anyways, I
Sorry.
No.
Go ahead. He goes into the work the next day, talks to his boss. Hey, guess what? My son told me. Knock, knock. Who's there? I'm leaving to go walk across the country. He's like,
you're fired.
what's his name?
Yeah, Larry.
Larry. He's like, Larry, I think your son's walking across the country. And that was
And
the
then
moment.
that's when he's like, son of a.
What the? Yeah.
Cut to, he's on the phone,
or the-
driving to the airport.
No, cue the plane taking off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Home
cut
Alone.
to.
All right.
Okay. Anyway, so when we like decided, I was just like, I talked to my mom and I was like, hey, I'm gonna go by myself. She's like, that's fine. Like that way you're not out there for a long time, and like, and she's like, and you wanted to walk more, right? I was
Mama
like, yeah,
wanted you
I
home, too.
Yeah. I mean, Mama told me not to go. That's not how the song goes. But anyways, yeah, as you ponder. Yeah, so like I told her and she's like, yeah, just go ahead. Go your own way. You'll
Yeah.
probably go faster and you know, who knows? It might work out. So I said, okay.
You might
well,
meet that beautiful girl walking across the country.
sadly, I did not.
Way to hold that over the audience, Rob.
Okay, we already talked about how I never met up with her.
I know.
Okay.
Bummer.
Anyways, so I remember when it was like noon or whatever, and I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna start walking, dude. Like,
Yeah.
let's split up. We only had the one tent though, so we're like, who gets the tent? So I was just like, just you keep the tent, Tony. I'll find
Yeah.
another one. The next town I hit, I'll go by
I'm one
a
with
tent or
nature,
whatever.
Tony.
Yeah, I can sleep under the stars. So as we're packing up, like I'm helping him pack up the tent, we're like not really talking at all,
silently helping
So,
each other?
Yeah, so I like help him, and then
Your
I'm
hands
like,
touch.
all right, well, I'm just gonna go. So I just packed up my cart and took off, but it doesn't end there.
You should have just given him like the warmest hug ever
No,
after this long fight and just say, I'm going to miss you so much.
dude, while I was walking, I remember I was like, I wonder like when he'll start walking, because like it's already noon. He's probably gonna start walking soon. So I like kind of get a head start. While I'm walking on this interstate, I turn around, I see him. He's just like a mile behind me. So like I'm like, this is awkward. Like we're both walking
Really
now,
weird.
but we're like separating, but we're like can see each other. So it was just like a really awkward.
So, you know,
situation.
people that are driving by are going, oh, they're fighting.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
should,
no.
should we pull over? Should
Guys,
we offer some?
guys,
come here.
Come on.
Come on, let's work this out.
How about what happens is like they catch up to you and somebody's already holding Tony's hand and they're like, come on, come on.
You want to
Come here.
You want to walk more? You want to walk less? Can't we just negotiate? Maybe walk just like right in the middle.
Damn it, Gladys. Leave us alone.
Stop. I don't want to. Don't make me.
That is super, super awkward.
No, yeah.
because I would be like turning around like, what's up?
Well, it gets a little bit better. When we're walking, there was like a point where like I didn't see him anymore.
Yeah.
And it was like I was like hungry, so I like stopped on the side of the road and I was like eating. And then all of a sudden he like walks up like like 20 minutes later. He like walks up, he's like, "Hey, do you have the can opener?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I do have the can opener." Cuz like we had two of them, so I'm like, "Here." So I gave him one. And he's like, "All right, thanks." And he just kept walking. So then I was like, all right, that's fine. So I like let him walk a little bit.
You just sit there, I'm drinking
And
my
then-
coffee.
Yeah, so I sat there for a while. I waited a while, didn't see him anymore. I'm like, all right, I guess I'll start walking. So I start walking. Of course, now he's eating lunch and I'm walking past him And I just go like,
Please
"Hey,
tell
man."
me. Please tell me you asked for the can opener back.
No, but I should have.
You're like, did you get enough miles out of that can opener?
my turn. And then we just kept crossing paths until Florida.
Until the can opener.
Yeah.
It felt like the Amazing Race.
Right.
No, but basically,
That had to be the most super awkward portion with
it was
that.
really awkward. It wasn't that like, I mean, again, we weren't like yelling, fighting, or anything like that. It was just kind of like an awkward kind of break.
Yeah.
It's almost like a breakup with like a girl, but you keep seeing her around work or wherever
Right.
you are.
Yeah.
Like,
It's that pesky
come on.
breakup when
Yeah.
you're both walking across the country. And you
yeah,
happen
and
to
then you just
see
keep
each other.
showing. Oh gosh, can't you walk a different route?
Thank goodness you guys didn't show up at like the same party.
I know.
Hey man, hey. It's like
Same
this party's already got a dude who walked across the country, so
So
you want to bail,
yeah,
bro?
we don't need two of you.
Yeah, can you please bail?
No, but that was the last time though. Was when I passed him while he was eating. I kept walking, and then that was the last time I saw
Did you
him.
give him the solemn looking nod though?
I was just like, "Hey man, good luck." I don't remember what I said. I just said something like that, and he was like, "Yeah." And then
He was like, "Yeah, f- you, buddy."
"Fuck you." He had his can opener. He was set.
Had his can
So
opener.
he was
his can
he
opener
flipped
and
me
his
off.
McDouble.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
Flicked you off with the can opener as
Yeah,
the middle finger.
Can opener in his
Yeah.
tent, and he's like, "I got everything
Good luck
I need."
Good luck opening cans, Rob.
Yeah, I'm sleeping under the stars. So
Sleeping under this beautiful night sky. Shut up.
although I will say that when I finally got ahead of Tony a little bit, there was a storm rolling in, and I was like,
yeah.
shit, I don't have a tent now.
Right.
So I'm like, there was a town coming up, and it was about 5 miles away. I'm like, all right, maybe I can make it to this town before it starts storming.
Yeah.
Well, dude, that storm was coming in, and the
Hauling.
wind was picking up, and I was like, crap, I don't have what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Just hide under my tarp, or not tarp, but under my poncho and just
I
sit
have
there.
one suggestion.
Yeah.
Dig.
No. Although I heard doing that during a tornado,
It does hook you up.
dig a ditch and climb into it.
If you are a excellent digger
Yeah, if you can do
and
it fast
foresee said tornado.
enough. Far away,
Honey!
and it's not changing direction. It's coming right for you.
it's about a mile away. Get my shovel.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. So the
I'm-
storm is coming.
Storm was coming, so it was picking up. So I was like, "Crap!" So I'm running I start running with my cart. I'm running as fast as I can. I'm like, "Come on, I gotta get to this town." It's thundering and lightning. So then, and I'm out in the open. But then there's another overpass. So I was like, "All right, I'm just gonna wait under this," because it was just starting to rain. So I got under the overpass, and I wasn't under the overpass for more than 30 seconds before a car pulls up and just pulls to the side.
Yeah.
And it was first I only saw a guy, and he looked out the window. He's like, "Hey, you need any help?" I'm like, "No, I'm just walking across the country. I'm just waiting out the storm."
This guy,
You know.
so egotistical.
No.
No, I'm good. I'm walking across the country. What'd you have for breakfast?
Yeah, help, please.
Help?
I eat help for breakfast.
Go volunteer at the local old folks home, buddy.
He was 40.
Cool.
Okay. So, anyways, he was just "Oh, really?" He was talking to me about the walk, and I went over to him, and then I saw his girlfriend or whatever was in the car too, and
Was it
she
the-
was no,
Ooh.
it wasn't Onion.
Just running back. There was a guy. Just
Go ahead,
brief for Sean. He went to. He and his buddies were walking, and some guy rolled up to ask him questions, and his girlfriend, or was it him?
It was his girlfriend.
His girlfriend was
onion.
eating a raw onion, just
Yeah.
eating the onion and looking at him, and he
just
kept going like this. He kept going. All right, back up a few feet. All right, now come closer.
Because he couldn't see us out of the car.
couldn't
So
see-
he was like, move back a little bit.
You back up a little bit. You come
It
closer.
was really weird.
Like
Really
he
weird.
needed to see people perfectly in the view.
Yeah, in
and
the
there's,
little window.
And there's his girlfriend eating a raw onion and just awkwardly staring at people.
Yeah.
How freaking weird is that? And how freaking weird is it that back in Montana he sees them again? No, I'm just kidding. That
No,
didn't
not
happen.
Montana. But I did see them again a
day
couple
later,
a couple
yeah.
days later
Now,
with his
Was
guy
this in
friend.
Montana or which state?
No,
No,
this was in
Washington.
Washington State.
Oh,
Washington.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a little bit. Yeah.
Eating onions.
Eating
Step
onions.
closer.
That's just what they do in the country.
Now back up.
In the Washington
Now
prairies.
back up. Honey, you see that one?
That's the one I like.
Do me a favor, put this on and dance a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm good.
Hey, you tall guy, watch my girlfriend eat that onion.
Yeah. Watch her eat the whole thing. She starts crying.
She's gonna bite through the core here in a moment. All right, so you meet this guy who is not Onion
Not
Man.
onion guy. He's actually pretty nice. And then his girlfriend. At first, his girlfriend, I can see she's kind of standoffish. She's like, don't Like, it's like kind of shaking her head, and he's like, like just kind of like shushing.
Babe, I got it.
I got this. Yeah. So he goes like, "Hey, do you want a place to stay for the night?" And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. He's like, me and my girl, like, we're heading up to our vacation home. Like, our friend owns this house up here, and we always go like, a week or two for vacation. It's like up in the mountains. Do you want to go? And I was like, could you drive me back here? Because I don't want to cheat. So I'm like, if you can drive me back here the next day, then I can do that. He's like, yeah, that's fine. I'll drive you back in the morning. He's like, but this storm doesn't look like it's going to die down anytime soon. Like,
wow.
I'll drive you up there. So like my whole thing was, again, like, there's a lot of people who offered me rides and a lot of people who did that over the whole course of my walk.
Right.
And I always had to like kind of use my best judgment, because who knows? Maybe they're like Bonnie and Clyde, or kind of like a creepier, more like
what's that?
sadistic...
Californication?
No, what's
yes. the one that Badlands is about? What was his name? Terry something.
Shiva.
No, yeah, that notorious killer.
I remember Californication is when the hitchhiker, and it was the guy that was going to different places to find serial killers, and they picked up Brad Pitt's character or something like that. The killer.
Oh, really?
Wasn't Brad Pitt the killer in that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah, I know.
somebody else.
That was just California, right?
That's David Duchovny who
David
picks
Duchovny,
him
too.
up.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
David Duchovny is actually in the TV show Californication.
That's true.
This was California, right?
Right.
I think it was called California
with a K.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know what you're talking about. Well, that's the thing is, I never knew who. I just had to use my best judgment, and I was like, you know what? Hopefully they don't lock me in their basement.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. So I was like, yeah, sure. So
You
he's like,
show up and Tony's there in a bubble bath going, hey, buddy.
yeah, I told them to pick you up.
So I was like, look for the guy missing a can opener on the side of the
Yeah.
road.
He also won't have a tent.
He also doesn't have.
He'll probably be under an overpass.
He doesn't
Perfect
have.
mark.
He doesn't have this tent or this can opener. He goes by. Never mind.
Yeah. So I ended up going. We like shoved. He had like a Jeep, so we shoved the my cart and everything in the back, and then he drove. It was like pretty high up there into the mountains. And it was
Nice.
like this really nice like cabiny type home.
And they
two-story
stayed
house.
with you. You hung out with all three with those two,
What? Yeah.
and it was not super awkward all night.
No. I mean, I didn't stay in the same room.
No, obviously.
Okay.
But it's like
No, they had
two's company, three's a crowd.
Yeah, but they were waiting for like more people. They were like a lot of our friends. They come up. There's like 8 of them or something. So they say we all like kind of hang out.
How
here and
many
stuff.
ended up being there at the house?
No, it was just them 2.
So when we're
They
up
didn't show up
sleeping-
until later.
Likely story.
After, at least that's what they told me. But they did.
told
They
you?
did my
How'd they tell you?
laundry. They did my. I like took a shower there. They had like a guest room, and then they made me like a spaghetti dinner, and then like breakfast. They made me like a whole bunch of stuff in the morning too.
And you were just sitting there like,
I was like, yeah. So I was like, actually, like, oh, this is the first night without Tony, and it's pretty good.
Meanwhile, back
you're
on the
sitting there
ranch, Tony's-
Snapchatting pictures to him. Guess what I found?
I guess I don't need that tent.
Yep.
No.
Tony's like
Keep the
freezing
tent,
in the
nerd.
tent right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like lightning
In
behind
the
him.
storm,
Yeah.
struggling with the can opener. He's got the can opener. He's just trying to open up a can of baked beans to eat, and he's like so cold he shivers and baked
Yeah,
beans
yeah.
get all over him. He's like, shit!
Yeah, lightning strikes.
I
and
got
just
baked
startles
beans
him.
in the tent. Freaking Rob! I bet somebody picked him up and made him a nice spaghetti dinner.
a mansion. Yeah. No, dude, it was a really nice. It was huge.
That's
man.
awesome.
Their living room was bigger than my house.
Nice.
I mean, it was big. So
Nice.
like, it was really cool.
Did
So,
they
like,
make you tell them stories at gunpoint?
No. But you know what? That is something, there's a lot of people who offered me like a place to stay for nights and stuff like that. And some people I just turned down.
Yeah.
They could have been the nicest people in the world, but sometimes they just give me a really bad vibe.
Yeah.
Like just I was
No.
just like, nah. You know what? I think I'd rather just sleep under the
I'd rather
like, in my
risk
tent.
nature than
Yeah.
live with you for a night.
Yeah, but they seem nice, and they gave me some money, and then they drove me back, and then that day when like they dropped me back off, I was wondering if I was going to run into Tony too,
Yeah.
because I ended up going to this bike shop in the next town.
Right at that spot. They drop
Right.
you off right as he's walking by.
I know, yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the room
Thanks
and
for the
food.
delicious meal.
No, I actually never saw Tony after that day. Like
That's
that was
crazy.
the last
All right, so
day.
let's call that a nice stopping point. Hoyt
Yeah.
and Barbie just stopped you off under the overpass.
Yep.
You're back where you started.
You know their names too.
Storm free. Yeah.
Okay.
Storm free, right?
Yeah.
Clear skies.
The next day? Yeah.
Bingo.
Yeah,
Bingo
yeah,
was his
yeah.
freaking name-o. All right. So thank you so much, guys, for listening to Across America. I'd give the promo stuff, but Rob forgot it again.
Oh, just say go to 7lamb.com.
7lamb.com.
And then you can go to... if
Blog
you wanna
Talk
see,
Radio.
Blog Talk Radio. If you want to see all of our other podcasts we do, including Story, which is a fictional version of this walk.
Which I may or may not be getting ready to record.
Which Jack is going to record for because he's the main star of it.
Hey, stop it.
Okay, so like he's in it. If you want to see what Story's about, you can check it out. You can go to blogtalkradio.com/7lamb. That's SEVENLAMB. And you can find all of our other fictional podcasts on there as well.
And you can tweet us at 7lamb
Podcasts. Don't forget that.
.edu.
No. Yeah, we're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. It's all 7lamb Podcast. That's the number 7 LAMB podcast.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Anything to say for the kids, Sean?
Have a good night, guys.
Keep going.
Keep on going.
Keep going.
And
perfect.
This has been a 7 Lamb production.